Yes, people, another evening, Wednesday evening, man, them chat in the building. Anyway, tonight we've got a really special guest in the house. One of the finest voices in the UK, international recording artist, has toured the whole of the globe with some of the biggest names in music, including Stevie Wonder, Quincy Jones, George Michael, Eric Clapton, Pink Floyd, Simply Red, and currently with the band Simple Minds. Yeah, this evening we've got Sarah Brown in the house. Welcome, Sarah.
Hi guys, welcome to Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. Give thanks.
All right, Sarah, that's a lot of names there, girl. There's a lot of names, man. Wow.
It's spanned over pretty much 40 years, Mark. So it's a long time.
Minds and that, but the rest of them,
yeah,
I didn't know.
Yeah, it's been, my story is that when I first started with the whole session singing thing, of course, like you had the girls on last week, Voices of Soul. And, I started out in the choir with them. And then from there, we were very poor. We sang because it made us happy. But basically, we weren't making any money. And I got called by, I think it was Stevie Wonder was doing a recording and was looking for some singers. And I was in the right place at the right time, got that job. And basically, it just started from there. I realized, my God, I could make money from singing. And I really wasn't very good at much else. So this was where I was going to try and make some money. And it literally has been a journey of faith and full of highs and lows, literally full of highs and lows.
So do you want to go back to the beginning then? A bit of your background growing up.
Yeah. I was brought up in Aylesbury, Buckinghamshire. And my parents divorced. I had a volatile upbringing. As a family, we're very close, but my father, like a lot of men of that time, was a passionate man, worked hard, but played hard and couldn't really hold his drink. And plus the spliff didn't really, the two things I think didn't really compliment him. So he was a ladies' man, but he would get angry. And for me, as a young girl growing up in that home, I was quite frightened a lot of the time. And then I left Aylesbury, Buckinghamshire, where I was singing in church anyway, moved to Luton, met up with the Campbells. Then we sang in the Inspirational Choir, which was signed to CBS. And then that took me around the globe. We were touring around Europe and sang to the Queen and the London Palladium lots of times. And then, as I said before, I then moved on to session work, being a BV singer. And I said to myself, firstly, my story is, I'm going to tell you this. I went to teacher training college. I went back to college after I finished school. And I thought, because the singing was all well and good, but my mother decided that the best thing for me to do was to do some training academically. And I did it for 2 years. And I just said, no, I can't do this. I just can't do this. I failed an assignment after the second year. And the professor of the college said to me, Sarah, we know that you really love singing. Why don't you just give it a try? Mm-hmm. And so I stepped out in faith and I decided that I was going to pursue my singing. And honestly, this is the God's almighty truth. I gave myself 10 years in which to make my mark. I researched the industry and realized who the top backing singers were. And I said to myself, I want to be a top backing singer. I'm going to give myself 10 years. And after that 10 years, I want the artist to be phoning me and asking me for what to work for them. And I'm not joking. It took 10 years of hard work. I worked with Incognito, M People, various others, but really the groundwork was with Incognito. After that 10 years, the first person to phone me was Mick Hucknall.
Wow. That's Simply Red, isn't it?
It's from Simply Red. He phoned me, asked me to come for an audition. And I worked with him for 17 years. The second person to phone me was Brian Ferry.
Wow.
I didn't even know who he was, but he phoned me. But all I knew, you know, I was so focused. And then the third person to phone me again was Simon Le Bon from Duran Duran. And then the fourth person to call my number, and I really thought that it was a joke. This was Quincy Jones. When Quincy Jones wrote me a letter, myself and Denise Johnson, who we were working with Simply Red at the time, when I got the letter, I threw it away. And I said, there's just no way that this is Quincy Jones. This is a joke. Someone's taking the Mickey. And I threw the letter away. A couple of weeks later, I got a phone call from the office, the Quincy Jones office, saying Quincy would really like your presence on stage with an ensemble of singers. It was 7 other singers to celebrate 25 years of Quincy Jones at Montreal Jazz Festival. I literally could not believe it. But my journey, I'm going to share this with you. It really does epitomize when you believe in yourself and you really focus hard and trust in God, believe me, it comes true. It comes true.
Things
it really
happen.
does. That's been my story. And even the last person that I now work for, Simple Minds, when Jim Kerr rang me 3 times, he left a message on my phone 3 times. I didn't know who Jim Kerr was. All I heard was this strong Scottish accent on the phone. And I said to my partner at the time, Chris, who is this? I don't know who it is. And he said to me, this is the iconic band Simple Minds. So literally 3 times. So then I rang him back. No, he rang me the 4th time, and then I was able to take the call. But, you know, I'm sharing that with you because I stepped out in faith. I had to be successful because I had left college and I knew that Mummy was going to be upset with me. And I just said, you know what, I'm looking forward and I'm not looking back. And I just trusted God, and everything that I said, I was going to drive a Mercedes, I was going to have a 5-bedroom house, everything, absolutely everything. When it came to me driving the Mercedes, I decided to buy a Mazda MX-5 because my partner at the time convinced me that that would make more sense than buying a Mercedes. But literally everything that I said, the Mercedes, the 5-bedroom house, Lincoln, the lot, them calling me, everything just came to fruition.
Okay. So we put on the Simple Minds video. Let's have a look.
See you in action, Miss Brown.
Good?
Yeah.
It's a bit of a long intro, that's why I cut off something.
Thank you for the voice, the eyes, and the memory shine. Thank you for the pictures of living in the beautiful black and the white. Some say we'll be together for a very long time. Some say first impression never will shiny book to an open scheme of things. Book of brilliant things. Book of brilliant things. Open up to take a look to the bright and shiny book, to an open scheme of things. Book of brilliant things. Book of brilliant things. Open up to take a look to the bright and shiny book, to an open scheme of things. Book of brilliant things. Book of brilliant things. Yeah!
Wow.
Yo.
How does it feel to perform in front of an audience of that size? Or at those times, you're probably used to it by then, aren't you?
I never get used to it. I'm going to be honest with you. As I said, I was brought up in a volatile home. So that fear, the child in me is constantly fearful. But the adult in me has to talk to that child on a regular basis and just reaffirm and try and encourage. And obviously my brother, Stephen Vigi, you guys know him as Vigi. He's been one of my biggest biggest mentors, really.
Norman, sorry, can you mute your mic, brother? Mute Norman, please. Sorry, continue, Sarah.
Yeah, Stephen's been a massive, like whenever I'm feeling a bit like, oh my God, I can't do this. This gig is an example. Simple Minds, when I got the call for Simple Minds, I was in tears. And I said to Stephen, I don't think I can do it. And he was like, don't be stupid. You can. Don't be stupid. Of course you can.
Sorry for me not fully. Sorry for me not fully knowing like your past and that. But when you was called to Simply Minds, was that as the lead singer or
no,
a backup singer? Because you seem to be the lead singer there.
Yeah, Simple Minds doesn't really have BVs. They have like a featured vocalist, which is me, and then the main singer is Jim Kerr.
Okay.
So this job that I did for job that I do with him is a really nice position.
That's good because you get to showcase your real talent rather than just being in the background harmonizing and
Yeah, absolutely. And it's and they're the kind of band where they see your talent and they've really been encouraging to me over the years. They're not like feeling insecure. Jim Kerr is very, very much of Sarah, get him on that front line and sing. And so it's been a really good experience for me. It's been a very good experience.
So what's the feeling like when you step out in front of those crowds? You're nervous or?
As I said, I always, every single show, I battle with fear, and fear shows itself in me where my brain tells me that I can't remember anything. So I have to really pray and stand up. The woman in me stands up and looks at the child and says, don't be stupid. You've put the work in, you know what it is. And as soon as I step on the stage, then it comes back to me.
That looks like there's a strong woman in you because you look fully confident there and in charge of the stage. You understand? So
yeah. As I said, for me, I'm from a loving family. And although I'm standing on my own, often when I'm really like low or I'm feeling scared, I will think about what Stephen is going to say to me, what Pauline is going to say, and especially Stephen is always very, don't be stupid. You can do this. Come on.
Triple X says you gave it some welly love. Love it.
Yeah, that was good, man.
I love the way you always keep your faith, Sarah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of people lose out when they're doing those things, isn't it? Always faith, and you can see it in you that you just still got your faith,
Absolutely. My faith will never, I could never lose that thing, that belief in the eternal, because the eternal was with me from the beginning. And when I'm frightened, I get on my knees, and I'm not going to lie. I get on my knees and I pray and I ask God, please help me. I can't do this on my own.
You talk of this fear and frightened and that. Would you elaborate on where these fears come from? Because like I said, I don't know your history. I don't know your past. If you don't want to, it's no problem.
It's fine. My fear came definitely from the child that was brought up in a home that was a volatile home. My father did get angry at times, and he did hit mummy, and he spoke negative words over his children. He also spoke positive words when he was drunk, but when he was angry, he would speak negative words. And as a child, 5 years old, 6 years, that's what I was hearing, and that's what I was feeling, the anger from him, which fed into the seed that grew into fear.
It's really nice to know that you faced your fears and your anxieties on every show.
Absolutely.
Like you said, the nervousness is still there, but you still face it.
Absolutely.
That's amazing.
Absolutely. It will never. I know that in me, in Sarah Brown, there is this character that is a fearful character. But I also know that there is in me and around me, my family members, like I said, Stephen has been one of the biggest fuels of my career. You know, he's
Okay.
seen it from the beginning. He knows that I'm his little sister who it gets frightened, but he speaks nothing but affirmative, positive words in my life and in my head all the time. And so with that, coupled with positive scripture, I can do nothing. I can do all things, you know, with God's help. I can do all things. That always comes to me. So without a shadow of a doubt, in my lowest times, when I felt like it's all over, I turn to my faith. And when the crowd is 90,000, 100,000, and we're going on stage just before Rolling Stones or something, that's when I'm praying.
I was just going to ask you, what's the biggest crowd you've performed in front of?
100,000. 100,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
What group was that with?
That was with Simple Minds, and that was just before Rolling Stones were headlining, and we were on just before Rolling Stones. But the Rolling Stones stood on the stage and was watching, because of course Simple Minds goes back far, and so they stood on stage watching whilst we were performing.
But it must be an amazing feeling as well to perform to so many people and release what's within yourself, you know,
yes.
Like let it all out.
Absolutely. It's an amazing feeling. Once I get through the grunge and the mire of fear, I'm then able to see the light, and I'm able to, once I face it and I walk through it, then I realize that fear is a liar, and it's something that will always be around me, and it feels real, but it's a liar. And then I'm able to stand in, you know, my hard work, and I'm seeing people clapping, thousands and thousands of people. It's an honor. It's a privilege.
But you use the fear as a catalyst, yeah?
Huh?
Yeah.
Using the fear as a catalyst.
You know what I find fear?
People put your hands up first for the answer questions, please, yeah?
Huh?
Put a hand up first. If anyone got any questions.
Like this?
And then on
it was like, you know, in life as you're growing up.
I can hardly hear you, Mark. Sorry, go on, Ollie.
Oh, you talking to me?
No, I was saying, Mark, I can hear you clear.
I was saying that in life, I think we have role models that make us fearful, like Sarah said, and role models that give us less fear. And those role models are really important, because they make you become who you are. Because when you're growing up, you don't realize how fearful you are until you meet people that don't have the same fear, or have grown to overcome that fear and become who they are. And they give you that kind of confidence, that self-esteem that you never had growing up, because it was taking it away with things that we did or went through and stuff like that. So to see Sarah where she's now, knowing that there was abuse and this and that, it could be totally different. Do you get me? It could be totally different. It affect her. Yeah, go on, Vidge. I know you got something.
This kind of reminds me of what we were saying a couple of weeks ago, and one of the discussions we were having that became, in my memory, one of the most passionate discussions we were having about upbringing and how we were brought up, and it was certain people were some people were maybe downplaying how important it is to have positive role models. Is that fair to say, guys?
Yeah.
Positive role models around that were positive without violence, aggression, and how important that is. How important that is to grow up in an environment that is positive, but not necessarily aggressive in negative in an aggressive way. And you can see, and then most people can see. I mean, it's, you know, as far as Sarah's got, in a way, it's held her back. The irony is, it's probably held her back. You know, she to push that extra bit further. She's always a little bit nervous because of that child in her that says you can't do it.
Absolutely.
Leave it.
But maybe without music, Vigi, maybe she would have been further back mentally, because it seems like
No,
music
absolutely.
is kind of her therapy. It's allowed
Oh.
her to strengthen this coping mechanism within herself.
Absolutely.
So mentally, she's probably, she may have been further back.
Yeah.
But
Oh, no.
obviously, on the success of music,
Yes.
within her career, yes, maybe it's held her back.
Absolutely.
Oh,
No,
but
you're
you
absolutely
can
right.
see the
And
music
she's
is
lucky.
definitely.
She's fortunate and blessed, should I say?
Yes.
I keep saying lucky, and I don't like to say the word lucky, especially after what's happened to me. I like to say blessed now. She's blessed in that she found something that just took her the right way. Because if she would have potentially found something else, that fear wouldn't have allowed her to go further.
No.
Yeah.
And
that's why it's so important to be a good role model without that,
a lot of us,
that aggression, that
yeah.
A lot of us come from this, and of course some of us are left with issues and we carry on. But then look, a lot of them become, the nitties, the solvent abusers. Do you understand me?
Yes.
It's the hurdle. It's the hurdle that you overcome.
You have to be a certain sort of person to be able to fight that. I mean, don't get me wrong. Listen, there are some people who come through and become even more strong, but they're not all. That's not all.
No.
And give me a certain of them little white families who grow up there, picking them South and all them sitting down and then just allow the picking them to grow, because I prefer some of that because we had it hard.
Yeah, I hear that. I hear that.
That's what I'm saying. And sometimes now, right? I look at certain things and I think, why we can't do that? We can't do it. Like we're frightened, and you can do it.
You can.
One thing I do is eat on the road, because my dad used to tell me not to eat on the road. I'll eat out of my pocket on the road, take the sweetie out of my pocket and put it in my mouth. You get me? I'll have to I can't do it. Do you get me? Because when I eat, kind of want to make people see you.
This is the point, Arlene. They don't
certain
realize. Most people don't realize how powerful what they're saying is going to be. At the time when when I was disciplining my youth and when I'm talking to my kids, I don't realize how poignant, how powerful my words are.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's my point.
True. Yeah. Mark, you had a question? You got hands up?
Yeah, so Sarah.
Sorry.
I'm listening.
No, his mic's muted.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, moving on a little bit from. Can you give us a little bit about your time with Simply Red? Because you're saying that's 17 years.
Yeah.
And maybe what how did that come to an end, and any differences between Simply Red and Simple Minds, for example? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a good question, Mark. Being a backing singer, starting out as a backing singer to where I am now, one of the things that I learned from being in the choir, again, Stephen's done some singing in the choir, so I know he can agree with this. You learn how to sing with different people and different voices. And so, to be totally honest with you, when I was planning, I did a 10-year plan, as I said before, and I knew who the contenders were. I knew who the backing singers were, who I needed to step into their shoes in order to make good money and get where I needed to go to. And actually, to answer your question, I would say that it was very easy having my learning ground based in the choir that I sang in, which was a basic gospel choir. So you're learning about harmonies, you're learning how to project your voice full, you're learning how to sing in your head voice like Philip Bailey, you're learning how to, sing soft, you're learning how to just sing in unison, you're learning how to sing with vibrato. A lot of the pop artists that have made me money, they don't sing with such dexterity. They sing kind of, light and airy. So I have needed to learn how to make my voice light And sometimes when they want it heavy, I then know that I can pull on that resource from where I'm from. But yes, have I answered your question, or have I veered off a bit? I tend to veer off sometimes.
About life with Simply Red, you know,
So
and
life
how
with
did that
Simply
come
Red.
from?
Okay, life
And the
with
difference
Simply
between
Red.
them and Simple Minds sort of thing now.
Okay, but how that came about, my time with Simply Red came about after I worked with Incognito. And this is when I was saying to you, I gave myself 10 years before I said, Lord, I want the artist to be phoning me. And what happened was Mick Hucknall liked acid jazz music, and he heard Incognito, Bluey, Monique, and so on. And I was singing with Incognito at the time. And Mick told his management, I would like that girl to come and sing for me. And so one of the BV singers wasn't cutting it properly. And so he got his management company to get hold of my management company and got me over to do an audition. And so that's how that came about. That was in 1994, I think, Stephen, when Daddy died. I think it was 1994. I got that
Sorry,
call, and that was pretty unbelievable.
can I interject quickly? When it comes to doing auditions, are you fearful then, or are you
Oh,
cool with it?
listen, the auditions are getting the call is fearful. Then the audition, because then I was going for an audition. Although he had headhunted me, my stomach was in knots, because this is Mick Hucknall. Mick Hucknall can sing. He's not all he can sing, but he can really sing. And so they sent me the track. And they sent me the 3 tracks that they wanted me to learn. I learned the 3 tracks. I didn't know which harmony they wanted me to sing. I was trying to get hold of the backing singer at the time, Denise Johnson, a fantastic singer, to get her to tell me what my harmony was. I couldn't get her. So this is where the choir work was a university. Yes, because it gave me the versatility. I could just switch like that from soprano, alto, or bass. And so as soon as I stepped on the stage, my heart was pumping. The adrenaline was just mad. And Mick Hucknall just seemed like a giant to me, because I knew what it meant. It meant a change in my wages. This was going to change my life. This was going to bring me the 5-bedroom house that I was talking about from my vision. Yeah. So I'm standing there and I'm thinking, come on, Sarah, you've got this. You've got to make this work. And I could hear Stephen in my ears. You've got it. You're going to do this. You've got it. It's easy. And so as soon as I didn't know which song they were singing first, Fritz played the chords on the piano. It was Holding Back the Years. And I just,
big tune.
Massive tune. You can't get it wrong. No excuses. So I didn't know which harmony I was supposed to sing. As soon as Denise opened her mouth and Fritz opened their mouth, I could hear straight away where I needed to sing.
Where you could fit in.
Yes. And that was about the years of being in choir.
I was going to say, do you think gospel, because I noticed that gospel singers are so deep, yeah? You think it sets you up for life, really?
Arlene, we're going, you got to do this hands up thing, isn't it? Because Sarah hasn't finished answering the question, man. You're going into a different thing.
I can't do it on my phone. It's a point onto that because you mentioned it.
The MIPS, innit? Yeah, so the difference is, Sarah, so like, why did it, so it was 17 years with them, and then
So basically 17 years with Simply Red, a totally different style of singing is required. That's more like gospel, because Mick Hucknall was influenced by Aretha Franklin, and he even thought that he was as good as Aretha Franklin. So, he would often say, and people would often say, that his voice is like hers. So what he required from me and from the backing singers was that gospel projection, hard singing. And now Simple Minds, as one of your other guests was saying, is a totally different thing. Jim Kerr wants me, I'm there featuring, so I'm singing songs, whole songs. The audience is getting to know me because Jim Kerr has allowed me to stand in front of his audience and sing to his audience. So number one, there's a big difference there between Simply Red, where I was loved as a backing singer, but Simple Minds, I'm being known as a singer within my own right. And the music that Simple Minds sings doesn't require the kind of projection that I gave to Mick Hucknall. A totally different singing is what I'm doing with Simple Minds to Simply Red. Totally different.
Triple X said you have to confront your fears to overcome.
Absolutely, you do. And that, let me tell you something, with the help, as I said, with the help of a loving family, I am and I continue to face my fear. I've just done my album here, as you can see. Sarah Brown sings Mahalia Jackson, and it was Jim Kerr who said to me, and Mick Hucknall said to me, Sarah, you need to do an album. And when I saw that time was running out and I'm getting older, I just said to myself, you know what, Sarah, if I do nothing else, and I confronted Stephen about this as well. I said, you know, what do you think? I want to do a tribute album to Mahalia Jackson. And I don't know if Stephen can remember what he said to me, but he said to me, Sarah, if you're going to do Mahalia Jackson, you can't do stupidness. You have to come with it because it's Mahalia Jackson. So it was hard because Stephen's a hard taskmaster. But I think when he said to me, I played him one of the tracks off the album and he kind of shrugged, which told me it wasn't amazing, but it's passable.
But your support from the family, that seems very important to you.
Absolutely.
And it seems like you do have positive support, Steve. And
it's very, very important to me because I've been fortunate, I'm blessed. I've worked very hard. I've created, I feel, my path. So, but with the help of God, and the help of my family. And to me, I'm telling you straight, it wouldn't happen without certain words from Stephen, certain words from Pauline, certain words from Marshall. It would never have happened. I'm too nervous.
So you said
What we're going to do now, Arlene, you can ask your question, and then Skip, do you want to play the other video, and then Sarah can come and talk about this new album what she's got.
All right, okay.
Well, out currently, I should say.
Arlene has disappeared.
No, I'm here.
Oh.
I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. This is why I have to see. This is why I have to ask questions.
It's not that hard to make beans, Arlene. Not that hard to make beans. All you need to do is put some pepper and some onion in it.
Anyway, I was just telling the pot. I can't remember what I was saying now. So I was just thinking that, like, what Sarah was saying about, I don't know, the type of singing that you learn from the church, the gospel.
Yeah.
You mentioned certain notes, but I can't remember. But obviously, and when you go to a pop artist and go join them, it's a total different flat kind of thing. Because I know it's so deep from within, and the notes that you guys hit as gospel singers is just off the chain. Do you know what I mean? Like
gospel,
it's just so much.
Well, gospel is the closest thing you're going to get. Proper gospel is the closest thing you're going to get to the sounds that were being sang and mourned on the slave ships.
Yeah.
So by the time they were in America, the blues, when you listen to blues, some of those chords that they're singing is so close. You hear Africa. You hear the scales of Africa. The way that some of the blues notes is being orchestrated. And so actually, I say this all the time. To me, I would never, ever be ashamed of where I'm from. I'm never ashamed of my mother, my father, although he was a difficult character. He installed in me hard work. And he was also, strangely enough, a very positive guy. You know, he would always say, yes, man, you can't do that, man. You can't do it, man. You can't do it. So, yeah, you know, gospel to me is the root of pop music in this country. Not
So
reggae, but it is the root
you-
of pop music in this country.
What inspired you to choose Mahalia Jackson?
What inspired me? Because as a child, I grew up listening to Mahalia. There were a few key persons that was played in our house that I was allowed to listen to. That was Jim Reeves, Aretha Franklin, Mahalia Jackson, Mighty Clouds of Joy, and then Dad would have his reggae collection that he would play. He would also play
Mighty Diamonds.
Yeah.
Gladiators.
Who?
All of the trees. They love the trees. They love the trees. So beat Bob Marley.
Yes.
Any trees.
Yes.
Alta Ellis.
Yes.
Proper reggae music, you know?
Yes. But I think, you see, it's interesting because Stephen's experience and my experience, although we were brought up in the same house, I was going to church right up until 1920 and older, right? Stephen didn't have to go to church, did you, Stephen? After the age of what, 14?
Yeah, that's to go. They didn't want it.
Yeah, I stopped. I kind of stopped going at around 14.
Yeah.
When
So
one day, mommy must have said to me, "Boy, we're going to church," and boy, we just get brave. I said, "Boy, I know where I go." and then I don't know. I think she must have just got sick of the excuses of me saying, "Boy, me know where I go," and I'm sick and this and that or whatever. And then after a while, she just stopped. She just allowed me. You know what I mean? But up until then, it was Sunday, Thursday, every church day I go on, we have to go.
Yeah.
And convention and
yeah.
Dollar Road Church and Pastor Campbell Church, all kind of church me I go to.
Yeah. And that is the truth. So for me, my whole life, so my musical taste, when Stephen was perhaps listening to, you know, jazz funk, soul, funk music and so on, I was just was really limited in terms of what I was listening to and what, you know what I mean? Yeah. I think I'll stop there, but my musical foundations were very small.
Thank you, Sarah. Skip, you want to play the video?
Yep. 2 minutes, brother.
All right. So do you want to introduce this video for us then, Sarah? Give us
Is this one I'm on my way? Okay. So this video, hopefully you're not going to hear too much talking. This is when I was at Ronnie Scott's. I did a show of Sarah Brown Sings Mahalia Jackson. It was a sold out show. And this was a moment where right up until the time I stood on stage, I was nervous, totally nervous.
Fantastic night.
Yeah, it was. I faced my fear.
Sorry, all right,
so this song is called I'm on My Way.
All right.
Well, this didn't used to happen to Mahalia Jackson, but after all, I am not Mahalia Jackson.
You can hear it, yes?
She was a great
Where's our lower?
Rubenesque woman, and as far as I'm concerned, she had rock and roll in her. She had that spirit of blues in her.
It's as loud as it can go.
I think it gets louder when I start singing.
All right.
I hope you enjoy it. And please feel free tonight. Mahalia was a very free woman. Anyone who knows her performances, she really gave of herself. And as a child, I was brought up amongst these women, as I was saying to you.
I can't hear it.
They would dress for church. I mean, this.
Very low.
Yeah, it is very loud at the moment.
I think it will get louder, I think. Let's hope.
Is nothing, trust me. The seam stockings, the pinched in the waist skirt, the jackets that would hold and caress the
What kind of business is he running, Skip, man? Joke business.
It's still recording, brother. Everything's up, man.
They did
Don't
not
put a fire upon me, man.
What kind of engineer is this, bro?
give you some of that
Going
tonight.
on, bro?
And I'm hoping that you're gonna rock and roll with me. So I'm on my way. This is a bit of rumba. Stand up if you like. I'm on my way to Canaan land. On my way,
I can hear it now.
Canaan,
If I turn my computer up, I can hear it quite well.
on my way to Canaan land. On my way, glory, hallelujah. I'm on my way. Well, I'm on my way to Canaan land. On my way to Canaan land. On my way, Canaan land. On my way, glory, hallelujah. I'm on my way. If you don't go, don't you enter me. If you don't go, don't enter me. If you don't go, don't enter me. I'm on my way. I'm on my way. Hey, come on. Calling good on piano. I think I know you. Choir girls. I'm falling and rising, but I'm on my way. I'm falling and rising, but I'm on my way. I'm falling and rising, but I'm on my way. I'm on my way. Glory, hallelujah. I'm on my way. Go, don't you enter me. If you don't go, oh, don't enter me. If you don't go, don't enter me. I'm on my way. I'm on my way. Yeah.
Yes, I mean.
That's
All right,
sweet.
we'll open the floor now to anyone who wants to ask Sarah a question.
Okay.
Sarah.
We have a
I
couple
think
of questions on.
You, Ali, let
tell
someone know.
people about your next event coming up. Because I'm just about to purchase my ticket. Your microphone's off, Sarah. Yeah.
Sorry, guys. Sorry. Yeah, I've got a show now. The next show that I'm doing is in where is it? Islington Union Chapel, November the 6th. And this, you know, this whole thing, when I was sharing with you about, we all have our different things, haven't we? And my thing is fear and facing fear. And it will always be there. I'll always face it. I'll always have to be a Goliath. But the point is, I'll always have to fight before I come out the other end. And my journey with this project, Sarah Sings Mahalia Jackson, I was telling myself from the very beginning, Sarah, you can't do this. I was actually telling myself that Hilda, who was one of your guests last week, Hilda is the one that should be doing this, because her voice, to me, was more suited to Mahalia Jackson. And, you know, so it went on for years. I had this vision in me for at least 25, 30 years, locked up with fear. And the minute I said, you know what, I'm doing it, Stephen said, come on, do it. Marshall said, yeah, man, come on. And just took one step in front of the other. I was able to record that album at Abbey Road Studios.
Wow, big Abbey Road.
Big Abbey Road. And when I say I'm not one of those people that can turn my back on my faith. And the reason being, when the voice said to me, Sarah, come on, you're getting too old. You're going to be 6 foot under. I said, okay, I'm going to do it. Then as soon as I took that leap of faith, that's when someone said to me, why don't you try Abbey Road? And Abbey Road was doing a school convention for their students and needed a band who was prepared to go in and record live. I was ready with the band. And so that's how it came about. Abbey Road Studio, Studio 2, which was the studio that Ella Fitzgerald sang in, Sarah Vaughan, Mahalia Jackson, all the greats sang in Studio 2. And that's where God said, Sarah, you're going to sing here, you know? And then, on every single level of this album, there's been a miracle that's much bigger than me. And all I've learned from this is I'll always be fearful, but I will always also look fear in the face and tell it to get stuffed. You know, it will always be a fight. There'll always be a battle for me. But I hope I've answered your question. I can't remember what the question was.
No, I was trying to get you to promote the
concert
on the 6th of November.
Well, yeah. I'm going to say this. The first show was Ronnie Scott's. When I sang at Ronnie Scott's, they then said to me, we want you back. So then I've done another 2 shows at Ronnie Scott's, sold out. Then I did the 100 Club. That was sold out. Then I did Cheltenham Jazz Festival, 700 people. That was sold out. And now Union Chapel has asked for the same production to come and perform. It's, to me, I see myself as small, but God sees me as where He's put me.
I'm proud of you, Sarah. I'm really proud of you. Trust me.
Thank you very much.
Inspiration. Keep going, girl.
Thank you very much, Arlene. It's been hard work, but you know, it is hard work. And whatever any of us want to do, I know that you can agree with me. It's hard work. It's hard work. It's not going to land on your lap. It just isn't.
But the good thing is you've got a vocal academy, so you're actually trying to help other people as well, which is beautiful as well. You're not just singing.
Yeah, I'm not, and it's not really a vocal academy. It's more of a therapy institution. It's called vocal therapy because I'm trying to help people youngsters and older people who want to sing, who want to perform, but are locked up in themselves, in their head with fear and doubt. So we talk about the fear, we talk about the doubt, we talk about where maybe it's come from, and then it unlocks that part of themselves. And then from that place, you're able to talk and you're able to sing, you know?
And listening from outside the door, some of them sound like they need it as well. But Sarah's really good at teaching them. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say.
Just 1 minute before I bring you in back.
The girl's really good. Like the girl, she had her own little show on Friday. It was so good, but you could see that she doesn't have the confidence that she should have, and her voice is amazing, Sarah. I might have to hook you up with her because
absolutely,
you know what I mean.
Absolutely, we're here to help each other.
Jadine, and she had a little, you know, she had Peter in the band, and she was singing, and a few other artists and that. And she's really good. She's got that harmony, in her voice. Something else,
Yeah, well, we'll open up the floor a little bit now.
Hold on. Triple X said, I used to cry when my mum said you are going to church. Kareem laughed at that, LOL. Grace Campbell says, you look absolutely beautiful, Sarah.
Thank you very much.
Kareem came back with 2 hearts.
Oh, thank you very much.
Okay, Blaps, you had a question? You had your hands up? Is he gone now?
You muted, Blaps.
Yeah.
Yeah, Blaps, you got a question?
Hi, sir. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having
Everything's been very, very inspirational. I love that because I relate to that. It's because I teach children. I mentor children as well. I want you to. My question is: can you, all the famous people that you've met throughout your life, can you give me the common denominator, like 2 or 3 common denominators, character traits of each one?
Yeah, the common
that made them
denominator
successful, can't they?
yeah, the common denominator, without a question of a doubt, is they believe that they're meant to be there and they walk as giants. That's the common denominator. Whether they can sing in tune or not, they all have this mental thing. And that's, I'll give you an example. Mick Hucknall was singing at Royal Albert Hall, Simply Red was. And Mick Hucknall had got rid of one of the BV singers. So there was me and Denise Johnson. He decided to scale down, got rid of D, and it was just me. So I was completely nervous to be singing on my own behind Mick. Just as we were about to go on stage at the Royal Albert Hall, I said to Mick, how do you feel? I'm really nervous. He said to me, Sarah, he looked me full on in the eye. And he said to me, Sarah, I was made for this. I'm excited. It's going to be amazing.
Big man talk.
That says it all, basically. So,
yeah, it does.
I would start on the other side of fear is joy. And I think everyone needs to take that leap and find out. You know, I mean, everyone says, mess about and find out. And if we don't take that first, you know what I mean, movement towards something to find out where we fail, if we're loving it, then nothing happens. So I'm glad that you made that step a long time ago and you're still here.
Thank you very
much.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you very much.
Triple X says again, hard work makes you value and appreciate it more. Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely. And I'll tell you something, it's funny how the emotions work, because I think sometimes as Black people, I think it's, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think maybe the younger generation have it as much as my generation, and maybe some of you that might be a bit younger than me on the forum now. I was brought up to be so humble that actually it kind of sometimes got in the way of confidence. And you know, it's a fine line between arrogance and confidence. But and I've learned over the years that, you know, I used to feel like when I got the Simply Red gig, I was so happy. But then I said to myself, no, you can't be happy, because any minute now you might lose the job. Someone else could come and get the job. When actually, if I had just used gratitude would have got me through it comfortably, and I'd be humble, you know, but still excited within my gratitude. I'd have joy. And
able to enjoy.
Yeah, it is about understanding some of these emotions, you know, because foreboding joy is a negative. You need to rejoice and be happy and tell people, yeah, look, this is what I'm doing. You know, I am doing this album. I've done the album. I did it at Abbey Road Studio, and I'm proud and I'm happy. You need to be able to say that.
So it's almost like that. It's almost like that thing. Sorry, Skip. It's almost like that thing where when people get confused and get the whole thing about money mixed up. We're in church. You know, when we brought up in church, and they'll say money is the root of all evil, and da, 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 da. Money's not evil. Money's not evil. Being poor is evil. Money's not evil. As well. But then we kind of wrap this whole thing up and say, oh no, it's evil to but it's not. It's about enjoying that peace.
Absolutely.
You know, like you're talking about that level between getting your ego confused and all of that sort of stuff. But then there's a place there in between where you can sit. It's hard. but you can sit
Absolutely.
there and you can be confident and you can love everyone and you can
Absolutely.
show love and give love
Yeah.
without going too far either way.
Yeah, well, money wasn't an issue for King Solomon or King David.
There we go. There we go. And the
Yeah.
reality is, God doesn't want us to be poor. He
No.
doesn't want us to be poor. He called us to be the head and not the tail.
No.
And really, if more of us understood that and embraced it and understand what it is to be rich, you can then look back and create thousands of wells in our motherland for these people, and schools, the way that Oprah has done it. We can look back and help. We can also look back and buy to be in the financial position to do that.
Right. So, Sarah, you sang with Stevie Wonder, and you worked with Quincy Jones. What are they like? Come on, we've got the big people. Then, what are they like?
Oh, the big people. And again, the thing that they have in common, Stevie Wonder came to about 4 of the shows that I was singing. I was singing with Incognito. Remember, I told you that at the beginning.
Yeah.
And Stevie Wonder was a massive fan and is a massive fan of Incognito. So we were in LA, and each time that we would go to LA, we would go out to dinner with Stevie. He would come on stage and sing with us and so on. And so I kind of got a little bit familiar with him. And each time I've been around these people, I call them gods, they all are the same. They will all say, Sarah or Mesa, at the time Mesa was the lead singer for Incognito, when are you going to go and do your own album? You know, I'm sure Hilda from Voices with Soul and Grace probably got the same thing. When are you going to go and do your own album? You know, their whole outlook on life is different to how my outlook can sometimes be. Very insular, very sort of narrow. And yes, you know.
So they believe in themselves. They believe in
totally.
That's what they're supposed to be.
There's no with Quincy, and both Quincy and Stevie Wonder looked me full on. Quincy Jones looked me full on in the eye and said to me, if you don't do an album or 4, he said, an album or 4 before you die, you would have wasted the life. You would have wasted the life that God has given you. That's what he said to me. And he was not gonna listen to any reasoning about, oh, my mother was a battered wife, or I was this, or it was literally no.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's not about that. It's about here and now. What can you do today to get it started?
Marshall Brown, your brother, says, aim for the stars and make the sky your limit.
And these are the strong words that comes out of my family.
And Grace said, for real. Grace Campbell from Voices with Soul.
Yeah. Hi, Grace.
Anyone else with any more questions before we wrap up? No?
Say no more.
Say no more.
Can I just say thank you very much for having me on your forum. It's been a pleasure just to share my story, and I hope I haven't gone on too much, but thank you very much for having me. It's been lovely.
Thank you so much for taking time out to come on the chat with us.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Grace says, oh, I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Grace.
We're all proud of you, Sarah.
Yeah, we are.
This feels really lovely, you know, because I lived in Luton. So it feels lovely.
Can I have a question?
Yes, go ahead.
I've got a question.
Oh no, it's Grace.
Question, Sarah. When are we? Sarah, when are we gonna do cabaret? What's it called?
Collaboration.
When we're gonna sing together and make something?
Put your camera on.
Collaboration.
A collaboration sooner than you think.
Collaboration, that's the word.
Yes. Sooner than you think, Grace.
We're up for it.
Well, it's going to be sooner than you think. I've already spoken to Hilda. It's
okay. She never tell me.
We always go there every time we talk, and it's going to happen. Absolutely going to happen. Going to happen, because the reality is, gospel is the foundation of
That's right.
soul, funk, jazz, rock and roll, pop music. It's the foundation. James Brown was singing gospel and dancing to gospel before he ended up out there. All of them. Bottom line. Bottom line.
And Sarah, my favorite song of you and Hilda singing is Safe in His Arms. No one has ever come, no one's ever touched the way you two sing that song.
Thank you, Grace.
How did you get to hear that song?
Grace, what did you say? You want to sing it with her right now? Is that what you just said? I can't.
No.
That's not what she said.
Don't try it.
So hold on, Grace. Where is that
not
song? How did you get to hear it?
An absolute troublemaker.
It's a good try, though. It's a good try. Good try. Good try.
How do we get to hear that song, Grace?
Man, I look at freeness.
I'm sure they've recorded it on somewhere.
Is that all you can give me? Okay. Oh,
no, them two are number one for singing that song. I love when them two sing that song. I guarantee you, there's not a dry eyes in the house.
Wow.
Wow.
That's the kind of song music I love.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks again, Sarah. Much appreciated.
Thank you for having me. Seriously.
Well done, Sarah.
This makes me feel very, very proud. It makes me feel like I've achieved masses.